Hello friends, and welcome back to this week's Self-Love Masterclass. If you are new here, my name is Renee Mullings. I'm the CEO and founder of Modern Day Wise Woman, which is an online self-love coaching practice and private school. And here at this channel, or wherever you're watching this video, we talk about all things self-love and personal development. We have been doing Self-Love Masterclass for many years now. There are so many videos, so many classes. I'll link some playlists up here for you to peruse. And you know what? People love to take notes. So have your pen and paper ready to go, or your iPad. And without further ado, let's get into this week's class. Today, I want to talk a little bit about trusting the process, what it means to trust the process, what it looks like to trust the process, and the value in understanding the self-love lesson or the principle of trusting the process. We're also going to talk a little bit about what to watch out for, because sometimes people think that they are applying the principle of trusting the process, but that's not quite what's going on, and it holds them back. What does it mean to trust the process? There are many different ways that you can interpret this principle or this lesson. From a self-love perspective, it is about us having the clarity and the understanding about where we are in the now, where it is that we would like to be in the future, and having the awareness that while it is possible for some pieces or some parts to happen quite quickly or overnight, that when it comes to growth, there is typically a process of some kind, an unfolding of some kind, a deliberate, intentional timing of some kind. What I'm not saying is that it is not possible for things to happen quickly or more accelerated, particularly for you. It simply means that there is generally a process to things and there are steps to things. And if you do not see the result immediately or quickly, or perhaps as quickly as someone else, do not worry. So many of us, right, we are ferociously and intentionally doing the inner work. We are doing everything within our power and awareness to heal. Why? Because ultimately we want to be happy, we want to feel good, we want to live the best lives we can possibly live. In addition, we are not in this life all by ourselves. We are in relationship and in family and in community with other people. And if you are at an aware place on your self-love journey, you understand that how you feel about yourself doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone that you are in relationship and in community with. It ripples out. Trusting the process, understanding that there is a process, understanding that anything is possible, and not to be freaked out if you don't always see on a very micro or granular level what is happening in the moment. I think many of you may have heard about the bamboo. I recall hearing about this from either a friend or perhaps it was when I was doing some of my training earlier on in my career. But what we know about bamboo is that when it's growing, we do not always see what is happening right on the surface. It's like the bamboo has been planted, and if I'm not mistaken, for perhaps, I think it's something like many months or possibly even many years, you don't even really see that the plant is growing. And then essentially what happens is there's a certain part of the process where the plant just shoots up many feet. And this is a perfect example of what happens for a lot of us when we're on our self-love journey. We may, in the very beginning, see seeds that are starting to grow. We might feel like things are picking up and things are shifting and things are changing. And then we may hit this point where it kind of feels like we're stuck. or it feels like maybe nothing is happening. And we're kind of like looking around in the 3D. We're looking around in the outside world to see what is happening. But it's not happening for us to see, right? It's not happening out here. All these little things are happening beneath the soil, underneath the dirt, in the background. There are things that are coming together, and before you know it, you're going to see that growth. So this is what it means to trust the process. It is to understand that there are things that are happening that are not always visible. Things that are happening that you may not always be fully aware of or in tune with, and not to freak out and not to think that something is wrong. Now let's spend a little bit of time talking about why it is so important for us to understand this principle and what difference it makes for us on our self-love journey or while we are doing this work. See, if you do not have the awareness, if you do not fully understand this principle, if it is not deeply embedded and integrated into yourself, what will happen to you, or what often happens to people, is we quit, we give up, we sabotage ourselves. We try and we try and we feel like we've tried enough and we burn out. When it comes to really developing our sense of self, when it comes to breaking patterns, when it comes to reconfiguring our self-concept, when it comes to going beyond where we have been before, it takes not only a healthy sense of who we are, but it takes us having grit. It takes us having the ability to keep going even when everything is dark all around us, even when we feel like we can't necessarily see the direction or the steps ahead of us, even when we feel like nothing is happening. People who heal, people who really change their lives. For example, people who go from struggling with money to having money and being able to sustain it. People who go from being in toxic relationships to finally finding the person for them or finding love. People who really have breakthroughs in the areas of their health. They go from perhaps not loving or caring about their bodies to finally having something really click for them and being on a new trajectory. People who go from working in a job that they don't love and they don't like and finding something that they're passionate about and developing a business or creating something new. People who make these kinds of leaps and shifts are people who know how to stay the course. They are people who know how to hang on when it feels like they're being shaken off. People who make miracles happen. People who have beaten all kinds of illnesses. People who have a breakthrough in the area of fertility. People who defy the odds, essentially, are people who know how to stay the course. And that is the difference that understanding this principle and applying this principle makes. It means that you are likely to succeed or more likely to succeed than the average individual. It means that when other people don't believe in you, you will better be able to have the belief in yourself to keep going and have it happen. Okay, this is where the coaching is about to get a little bit rigorous. I'm about to, get a little bit buck here because some of you need to hear this and other people around you are not telling you this, or you're not able to hear it, or you don't have the kind of support in your life where you are getting this constructive feedback and you need it. If you are sitting around, waiting around, Mostly not taking any action, not really doing anything. And you are saying, trust the process, trust the process. I'm trusting the process. You are not trusting the process. More than likely you're not. There are some exceptions to this, and I will talk about that in a moment, but you're just sitting around doing nothing, okay? You are in denial. You are in a bit of a delusion. You are not applying the lesson. There is a difference between being steadfast, holding on to your intention and moving forward, pushing things forward, staying the course, even when the pathway is not illuminated, and just sitting around thinking that a stork is going to deliver a blessing for you, or like something's just going to be like handed to you. Remember, everything works in exchange and reciprocity, and there is a circular flow to the way things happen in the natural universe. You just sitting there saying the words, trust the process, while you are not engaging yourself, you are not coming from a strong sense of person and being, you are not actively, doing what you need to do to seize opportunities, see opportunities, and make things happen, is not you trusting the process. And this is why some of us get frustrated, because we say, oh, I'm being patient. Patience is a virtue, the law of attraction, the law of assumption. Like, why aren't these things happening for me? Why isn't it working? All of this stuff. It is because you are not doing your part. You think you're doing your part, but you're not. And this is where it's really great to have a coach, right, to support you, because there's likely something in your blind spot, something that you're not aware of, something that you're not seeing, things that you're not optimizing. And without any additional eyes on your situation, you're just going around and around in a circle. Now, here's the exception, right? There are some of us that we think that we can make things happen with force. Like, I'm just gonna, push, 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 push. I'm going to do the most. I am gonna do the, cartwheels and somersaults and backflips. I'm gonna make it happen. And while, I acknowledge you for your fierceness and for your tenacity and for your gumption, right? You cannot force something to happen before it's time. Like, there is a level of ego and a level of disrespect, or it is indicating some kind of lack within yourself or about where you are in the now. And that is creating more stickiness. It's creating more of a block. It is actually having you not be a match for whatever it is you want. There are many texts and modalities that talk about this, but the one that I'm going to pull from is the Buddhist principle of attachment, right? So when we're forcing and trying to do the most and self-sacrificing and killing ourselves in order to achieve or fast forward or accelerate a process, right? We are being too attached to the matter. And that level of attachment often corrupts the process. It creates all kinds of errors. It creates all kinds of mix matches. It creates breakdowns. It creates issues in communication. Like, it is not a space from which to create or to manifest or attract from. It's heavy and it does not serve you. And so in those cases, for some of you, if that's the kind of thing that you do, sometimes the intentional action is to pause, is to break, is to surrender, is to give space for. And again, that is not you doing nothing. That is you intentionally getting the heck out of the way. Like, you are getting in your own way, and you are intentionally taking the action of creating a clearing, of moving out of the way. That's your job. This is so important, right? It's an important part of understanding how to properly use the principle, the self-love principle of trusting the process. Now you have a good understanding of what it means to trust the process. You are clear about why it is so important for you to grasp and understand this principle and apply it. And you also are very aware of what it looks like when you are not trusting the process, but saying that you are trusting the process. I want you to do some of this work right now. I want you to think about something that is very important to you, something that you desire very much, and something that you are committed to achieving. I'm going to say this again. It has to be something that you are committed to achieving. And I want you to write that down. Write it down. Say to yourself, I am committed to achieving, and then fill in the blank. And then what you're going to do below that is you're going to say to yourself, I'm going to take action, and I'm going to trust the process. So again, you're going to say, I'm going to take action, and I'm going to trust the process. If you feel inclined, I would love to know what you're committed to. I would love to know what you're working on. And I would love to know what you learned from this class. What was one of the big takeaways? What is something that has helped you, right? To feel like, okay, I'm going to apply this. Friends, I know just as much as you do how hard it can be to apply this principle when there's something that we desire, there's something that we're committed to, and we want it so much, we want it so badly. We want to feel and know that we're doing everything in our power to make it happen. Some of us are a little scared, so some of us might hide behind the whole trust the process thing, and you now have some tools to make sure that you're not doing that. But it is hard to want something so badly and to also give it the room to breathe, give it the room to grow. I hope that this video has been a good one for you. If it has been, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. It helps me to know what videos you want more of. And don't forget to share it with your friends and your family, the people you love most, the people you're on a self-love journey with, share it with your community, because the more of us that are doing this work, the better our world will be. And let's see, what else do I want to say to you? Honestly, I think that's it for right now. It feels really great to be doing weekly videos again. I feel like I'm getting back in the groove, you know what I'm saying? And I'm really looking forward to having more videos out for you weekly. Thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for being with me. And until we see each other next time, don't you forget that we are in this together.